We'd like to start out by thanking our valuable sponsors. Sense of Satisfaction by Cricket is the place for all your fragrance needs. Plus, she's got products to heal what ails your skin and your hair. Shop at scentsbycricket.com. Special thanks to our valued sponsor, John Travis, a financial coach and certified Kingdom advisor with Richard Young Associates, a registered investment advisor. Thanks goes to Anna Patterson, my sister in the Lord who faithfully gives to this ministry every month. And to our newest sponsor, LaToya Gerard of Preach the Word Worldwide Network. She is a valued sponsor and a major encourager regarding this ministry. We need and would love to have you as a sponsor. Absolutely no gift is too small. Please note the info regarding giving throughout and at the end of the show, and help us spread these testimonies around the world. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the viewpoints of our sponsors. It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together.
A guy, you're in a relationship now, but saved him with the Holy Ghost. So things were coming up that you had put down at one time. You talk about being sexually assaulted. But you also talk about becoming more promiscuous. Have you ever considered, or even now, can you think about what, even in the midst of sexual assault, even in the midst of all of that, then becoming more promiscuous, did you ever think about how that seemed like such a dichotomy, it seemed like maybe it would have shut you down, or it seemed like, what did being in that relationship tell you about yourself?
Back to being a people pleaser.
Okay.
That spirit of rejection, and I hate it so much, but that spirit of rejection will have you doing things that you don't want to do,
right? So
that you don't feel the spirit of rejection, that pain that comes with rejection. So you do whatever it takes. It's almost like whatever medicates this thing.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
if it takes me laying up, if it takes me getting out of character, if it takes me to doing whatever it takes that I can medicate this pain, that's what I do. And that's what rejection, but that root of rejection,
I got the same root, so I get you.
Bring a lot of things, because you look at a tree, when the tree grows up there, the fruit comes out. So the root of rejection have all kinds of fruit in it. It ain't the fruit of the spirit.
So
it's the fruit of a spirit, but not the fruit of the spirit.
That's right.
And it'll have you doing things that you don't want to do. And that's why I'm very careful of how I look at someone's situation and their circumstance,
right,
and why they doing what they do.
That's right.
Because you don't know the backstory.
Exactly.
You don't know what caused them to do what they do. So the best thing to do is pray and shut your mouth, because you don't know, because you might have the same root, baby. Because I believe everybody got some of that in their life. Because Jesus was despised and rejected and acquainted with grief. So if he's suffered in the flesh, arm yourself likewise. So even that root of rejection had me doing things that I did not want to do.
Right.
I just preached a message Sunday. I don't want to be like this. The prodigal son. There was a root. There's a backstory behind that. There's a backstory behind all the things that we do.
Right.
Don't think people just doing stuff just to be doing it.
Absolutely not.
There's a backstory.
Yes, there is.
But we thank God for his mercy and his
Yes.
grace, even in the midst of being promiscuous and doing things that God didn't sanction. God's mercy and his grace and his love. There's nothing I did that stopped him from loving me,
Right.
and stopped him from using me,
That's
and
right.
stopped him from considering me. So I thank God.
Yes, because see that's what I was getting at, is that whole acceptance piece. That I know for myself, that's what happened. Once that door was opened, it's like, oh, well, somebody want me for this? Oh, because the rejection had been so long and so strong, till, oh. And it didn't make sense. I mean, when you sit and consider, it doesn't make sense. But to the person going through it, oh, somebody want me for something? And that's what, just like you said, that's what fosters that promiscuity. That's what that voice starts saying. But he love you. But he like you. But he want to spend time with you. And like you said, that's the thing that ends up with so many young girls feeling like, well, I'm getting it here. And it's important that parents give kids the attention they need. Not just parents, family members, loved ones, at the church, at wherever. Let these girls know that they're good. Let them know that they're loved. Let them know that they're wanted, because they're looking for attention somewhere. They're looking for acceptance. Even the other day, I was talking to God the other morning. I was like, when I look back, I can't say that it was so much. I didn't want attention. I didn't like the attention. So I didn't necessarily want attention, but I wanted the acceptance. And so that's, like I said, I just wanted to get at that, because it seems like if you were assaulted, then, but even that speaks differently. When your ears are off.
When you're, even in that, I still mess with the one that assaulted. We got in a relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
How?
Yes, ma'am.
I think about that now.
Yes,
Why
ma'am.
did I?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of rejection.
Yes, ma'am.
That people pleasing. See, the enemy, we're so valuable to God. The enemy will strategically plan for our demise when we're first born. He will sit and wait and watch and plan.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how valuable we are. But I thank God.
Yeah. Jennifer, and that, again, it's important that we talk about this, because not just us. Same thing you said. You were sexually assaulted, and then with the guy that did it, I was raped by a friend. And later that night, when he called, said I should have finished what I started. I'd have come back over there tomorrow. And I'm dumb enough. He didn't come back. He never got in my space again like that. But I remained friends. I never told. I didn't tell. I didn't even believe it myself. I told myself for the longest that I had not been raped. I was almost. I said for probably 20 years, I was almost raped. 15 or 20. And then one day, it dawned, honey, you were raped.
You took advantage.
There was blood. You were raped. And so, like you said, when those voices, when those feelings of, but somebody wanted me. Or just like, I think for me, even in that part, it was that this was a friend that I talked to all the time. Again, the acceptance. It wasn't even about the sex. It was, but this is my friend and we talk. And so, just to anybody who's listening, we need to let them know they're worth more than that. They deserve better than that. God has so much more for them.
So much. But I look, but the awesome wisdom of God allowed me to go through that. So now I can help somebody
Yes,
else.
absolutely.
And I can pick it up in
Right.
the realm of the spirit.
Right.
Whoever going through what I'm going through,
honey,
I've been through,
yes,
I can pick it up.
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, devil, you might have did it then, but I got you now, baby. And I got authority over you.
Because now you become the expert in the matter. Now you know how to fight it.
That's it. And not only that, I've forgiven.
Yes.
I've forgiven and I can
Right.
love.
Right.
Beyond that.
Absolutely.
So even that person that did it,
Yes.
God got them too.
Yeah. Enemy uses who he will.
Whom he
Heck,
will.
if we ain't careful, there are instances where we've been the weapon.
What?
So we can't never get so self-righteous or whatever that we think, woe be unto them, but I'm good. No, because in somebody's story, unfortunately, we show up as the offender. Not that we meant to, but wherever you are in life, you can't, we say, I would never. Honey, it's so many I would nevers that we've done. Not intentionally sometimes. Sometimes as a means of survival, you end up doing what you think you wouldn't do. But yeah, like you said, we've got to forgive. Because somebody forgiven us prayerfully. And we know God has. But there's somebody who we've mistreated as well.
Exactly. We've been opposers. So
Yes.
just then going into marriage.
Before you step into marriage, let me ask you something else about pain. So when you were at pain and you're seeing these, like you said, you're being called upon, and did your confidence go where it should have? Were you able to maintain the confidence, or was it still a struggle in terms of your singing? I
maintained the confidence, and then another relationship.
Okay.
My marriage.
Okay.
Being married, I was married for 15 years, but met my husband on the job. Knew him as a little boy. We used to singing again.
Okay.
Met him in church.
Okay.
Riding the MSY bus.
Okay.
His mom was on the choir, but he was younger than I was.
Okay.
So met him in marriage and going through the phase of marriage, and going in with that spirit of rejection to the point that I couldn't even trust my husband.
Okay.
Because I wasn't healed.
Okay.
I wasn't healed from the things that I went through before. So I went in not trusting, went in broken, but I was in love. Stayed there, and because of the brokenness, because of not trust, I couldn't trust him from here to the door.
Okay.
Oh, where you going? Before we get out the door, when cell phones came in, Lord knows, and pages, Lord, but miserable life.
Okay.
Because it's very painful to live and not knowing what the next minute, the next you're insecure about your next moment.
Okay.
And that's why I was saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, had a prayer life and everything. Everything. Had a prayer life. Love God. Operating, moving and singing and traveling. Well, I'm traveling and singing and all of this, but broke up. I tore up from the flow up. Don't know who I am. Don't know where I'm going. Just in a marriage, pleasing my husband, pleasing my children. But I'm a mess on the inside. That spirit of rejection, even in the midst of the marriage, the infidelity, the abuse, that spirit of rejection would allow me to accept that. As long the behind the closed doors numb the pain, because I don't feel rejected, because I'm getting attention and I'm getting love. Get beat and then go lay and didn't. You understand?
Yes.
So many people, even more so in the church, going through a lot.
Right.
But because of what people may say,
Right.
we tend to accept it and deal with it and deal with however we have to deal with it. So the way I dealt with it is behind the closed doors. The little intimacy we had allowed me to settle for abuse, settle for the infidelity, to settle even the things that I went through. I settled because I didn't want to feel the rejection.
Okay.
Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, with a mighty burning fire, but dealing with rejection. And it caused a lot of my reactions from, it didn't show up as rejection, it showed up as insecurity. It showed up with anxiety and depression on medication. But, you know, going to church and being faithful.
Did anybody outside of your home know about the abuse?
My pastor.
Okay.
And one of my friends, she detected it.
Okay.
But I didn't take it no further because I wanted to keep my marriage because of the religious things that were taught to me. You only can have one husband. And I knew I was a wife. So you can't get married no more. If this don't work, no more marriage. No, you ain't gonna be no wife. And if you go and marry again, nobody ain't gonna let you preach at their church. Nobody ain't gonna let you sing no more. People pleasing. Back to that. Back to that.
Right.
So I settled.
Okay.
Until the Lord had him to leave. And he didn't understand why he had to go.
Okay.
I didn't understand why he had to go, but now I understand.
Yeah. Did that feel like rejection again when he left?
Of course. It felt like rejection. It felt like I'm not good enough for nobody. Because I had gained a tremendous amount of weight. I was over 400 pounds to the point that I was breaking the seats in the cars.
Okay.
That I could, because I'm 6'1", 400 plus pounds. And the second day after he left, I asked him, I said, is my weight the reason why you left me? He said, yes. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't think I ate for a whole week after that. I didn't eat. And after he left me with 2 children. After that week he left, 1 week, they shut my lights out. And the man came to me and said, by the landlords, we shutting your lights out. And I'm saying, they know I'm here. I don't have a job. First of all, I'm not working. I left a 80,000 plus a year job. So I lost everything from a 3,000 square foot house to cars, everything. Now in a single wide that we're renting from his cousin. Don't have no money coming in. He the only one that made the money. And I'm here with 2 children. Don't know how in the world I'm gonna make it. They shut the lights out. The man came and said, I gotta cut your lights out because the landlord said. Because him and my husband at the time had a disagreement. So they shut the lights on me and my children. The man said, well, he went to the casa. I'm crying, talking to the light bill man and said, I don't have no money. I don't know where I'm getting it from. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Crying, and he goes to his car. And then every dime he had, gave it to me and said, I'm going to turn your lights back on. And I'm gonna give you till Monday to turn them on, put them in your name. So he changed my meter, turned my lights back on.
Okay.
The next day, the water bill. Shut my water off. Now here I am like, oh God, what am I doing? So I called him. I said, they didn't turn my water off. He said, well, I'll pay to get the water. So he paid to get the water back on. Monday came. I needed $1,500 to get the lights back on. Went to the place, and they did a lot of research. They said, we just want $150 from you to put it in your name. He gonna have to pay the $50.
Okay.
So when we got my lights, my mom called me. She said, Jen, come home. Come home. I packed up my house, and I'm in the middle of packing. I said, God, I ain't got no money. I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, been faithful to God and been faithful in the marriage. I said, what I'm gonna do? And immediately while I was sitting on the bed, don't even know how long, I sat on the bed, but my mind left me. I literally lost my mind. But when I came to myself, I was calling on the name of Jesus. That's why we can't play with our relationship with God.
No, man.
And he brought me back. He brought me back. Had my mind back.
Yes.
And I was able to get myself together and pack my house up and move back with my parents. Now, subsidized housing, had to go live in subsidized housing, which I have no problem with. Because I paid FICA. So I know what it meant.
Right.
So it was, you know, so moved in subsidized housing, and me and my kids. It's so much, God, so much. But I thank God, 2013.
You don't have to jump. You can walk us through it.
Okay.
You can walk us through it. This is why we're here.
Subsidized housing. Me and my girls, moments of lack. In the midst of that, I took a woman in my house. Her stuff was stolen on the lawn in Augusta. Met her through some mutual friends, and her little stuff, she had just got out of the hospital. Didn't have nowhere to live, and I brought her into my apartment. Now, you know, in subsidized housing, you can't live, have nobody to live with you.
Right.
But I went to the front office. She said 2 weeks. She can only stay 2 weeks. Now, if she leave within them 2 weeks and come back, it's okay. So the woman that stayed with me left between those 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks, and she went in the hospital. She died right in my house, and I had to pray her in, pray her through, and call an ambulance. I don't know this woman from Adam's Cat, but I brought her in my house. Then she came back after that, and that was the hardest battle in my life financially I ever had to go through, where I had no food. And I had another person living with me. Upon not having food, I had used everything I had in my house that we can eat. Going into dinner, what we gonna eat, Mom? I said, I don't know. Knock on the door. I brought you some groceries. And in that moment, the lady, the woman that was living with me, which I believe it was an angel, and didn't even know it, went through that trial. And one morning, she said, I'm going to Florida. I need you to take me to the bus station. That morning, I have no car. My truck, the truck that he left me with, I would have to hold the door to ride down the road. And I would pull up and go sing at places. And I had the worst vehicle in the parking lot. Sometimes I'd go there on E and leave on E and make it back home. But I was determined to do what God called me to do. And people get delivered and set free, and I got to go home and still deal with the lack, not having. But I didn't charge God foolishly. Because I knew he had me.
Yes.
And in the midst of that, the woman, I didn't have a car. My motor went out on this truck that I was driving. And I didn't have a vehicle, so my mama came to take her to the bus station. And on there, she was walking down the hall, and there was a CD fell on the floor in my room, and the sun shined, and it had a rainbow from one end of the wall all the way to the next. And she piped by. She said, "That's God's promises to you. He gonna keep them." And so that day, we took her to the bus station. Got to the bus station, there was no ticket. So she said, let me go back. She went up there and came up with a ticket. And I said, let me look in your suitcase, because it don't look right. Open her suitcase, she didn't have, I treated her like a child. Because, that's just, I'm a nurturer. And so, open up the suitcase, and her clothes was all, let me fold your clothes up. Look in the suitcase, there was a box. I said, what's this? These are my sister's ashes. There was ash. I said, you had that mess in my house. All this time you been around. And she laughed. So she got on the bus. And she called me when she got to her destination. And I didn't hear from her again. But since that day, my life God began to restore some things in my life. Restore. I wouldn't get no disability or anything. I was living off of $250 a month with 2 kids. But God began to restore some things. This is in 2013, and the people in the city of the county of Edgefield began to put their money together to buy me a car. It was a Mazda 323, and got that Mazda, and I was able to move. But that was the same year I traveled all over the country. That year I went in St. Louis, Missouri, Camden. I was in North Carolina. I was in different areas in the country, and Chicago, singing.
Singing solo or with a group?
Solo. Okay. I would do women's conferences.
Okay.
One of them I did that year was with Dietrich Hatton's mother. Okay. In Chicago. And just different areas I was going, running and doing in 2013. That's when I had a stroke. Okay.
Was that your first medical crisis?
No, my first medical crisis was in 2006. Okay. With Jessica. Okay. I had several miscarriages. Let me backtrack.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at thessbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together.